Everybody, today it looks like I'm sitting just in a peaceful park, just on a bench actually, but I'm actually in downtown Fishers, Indiana, and I'm super close to one of the busier intersections in Fishers. In fact, if I stand up off of this bench, look right behind me, you've got 116th and Lantern Road, which is just to the west of 116th and I-69, which is an exceptionally busy intersection. We're going to talk about Fishers today in the downtown area, just how much it's changed, and how Fishers has really become a destination for a lot of people that live in the Indy Metro. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, I'm Jason Compton with the Compton Home Group. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is about Fishers, Indiana, Indianapolis, Indiana, any of the cities and towns that surround Indianapolis or the neighborhoods in Indianapolis itself, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap the little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. Now we have people reaching out to us from all over the country with questions about Fishers, Carmel, Westfield, Noblesville, Greenwood, Plainfield, Avon, Greenfield, all the cities and towns that surround Indianapolis and Indianapolis itself. So if you have questions at all about anything Indianapolis or the surrounding metro, then make sure you reach out to us any way that you know how. We'll always have your back with those questions, and we'll certainly have your back when it comes time for you to make your move to the Indy Metro. So again, I'm in Fishers, Indiana. I'm in downtown Fishers, Indiana, and this is a place that is special to me because Fishers is actually the very first place that I bought a house. Lived all over the place. I wouldn't say all over Indianapolis, but in a lot of different places in Indianapolis and even some places that surround Indianapolis. But when I bought my very first house back in 2004, it was in Fishers. And I did that because I knew Fishers was kind of an up-and-coming place. It wasn't necessarily super exciting there in 2004. There were under 40,000 people. I think there was only maybe right at 40,000 people or so in 2004. And now it's right at 100,000 people here in 2021 when this video is being made. But it was a super affordable house. It was in a great location for where I was working at the time. It wasn't too far away. It wasn't too close either. And it was just a really nice community that had a few things in the area where I bought the house, in this downtown area. Now I'm gonna sound like one of those people that just talks about when they went to school and how they had to walk uphill both ways and through 3 feet of snow. Or I remember when in the early 2000s when Fishers wasn't nearly this big at all. In fact, where I bought that house is very close to here. You could walk to it from here. It's roughly a mile from where I'm standing right now at 116th and Lantern. There literally was a field just to the north with a barn on it. And now there isn't a single remnant of something like that in this particular area except for one tree, one spectacular tree that is over on that property where they've actually saved it. But everything else is dramatically changed. And whether that's good or bad, I don't know. That's a subjective thing that's up to you. In my opinion, I think that it's good. Fishers is a city that just exploded in its growth in the year, not 2000, but the early 2000s. In fact, if you go all the way back to 1990, which doesn't really seem all that long ago, and I guess in the grand scheme of things isn't all that long ago, but we're talking 30-ish years ago or so, there were under 10,000 people in Fishers. In fact, there was right about 8,000 people here. Now at close to 100,000, that's a dramatic difference. So Fishers has exploded. And I think the good part of the downtown area of Fishers, and it looks so different now, it's not kind of the peaceful, more quiet, I would say quaint area that maybe it was whenever I bought my first house right in this particular area. It's a little busier than that. There's of course more traffic here, a lot more business, but there's also places to go. So anytime a city is just exploding, especially a suburb of a bigger city, Fishers is a suburb of Indianapolis, but Fishers is its own city, and it is actually now not a very small city in the state of Indiana. It is a city in and of itself, but in the early 2000s when it was exploding in its growth, it was getting very close to falling victim to what a lot of suburbs fall victim to, which would be sprawl. So Fishers geographically has become very big. And when a city is growing like that, you can have parts of it that are very separated from other parts. and it can feel just kind of uniform all the way across. So it's just residential neighborhood after neighborhood after neighborhood after neighborhood, grocery store, couple shops. Neighborhood after neighborhood after neighborhood, grocery store, couple shops. There really isn't a city center at all. And so if you watch this channel at all, and you watch a lot of the videos that I actually make about the different places around Indianapolis and Indianapolis itself, you might know at this point that I'm a pretty big fan of having a city center. And Fishers certainly didn't really have that to match the growth and the size the city has become. But it is absolutely on its way. And so it has become so stuffed with a number of different things. It's become a little bit of a destination. Now, of course, the IKEA and the Topgolf are right here in Fishers, and they're actually just off to the east of where I'm standing. It's a beautiful weekday morning right now, and actually the sun is rising over here in the east and kind of shining in my eyes. But I can see the nets for Topgolf over there. I can see a little bit of the sign for IKEA right over there as well. People come from all over Indianapolis to go to those places. Now, IKEA is a furniture store, so that may not be necessarily exciting to a lot of people. It's not really, I guess it is entertainment for some. It's certainly entertaining whenever we go in there and try to get out, because the map is hard to understand, and of course you can't just find your way out without it. It's pretty difficult to do. So I guess that could be entertaining if you like that sort of thing, that aggravation. But Topgolf is definitely a place that people come to. But in addition just to those places, Fishers has become a destination for not necessarily foodies. It doesn't have the best food in the whole Indy metro. There's some phenomenal restaurants in Indianapolis and surrounding Indianapolis. But Fishers has gotten a lot better with the Yard at Fishers District. A lot of really good restaurants over there for anything that you want, whether it be breakfast or lunch or dinner. You've got some choices there. And then a little bit of shopping through Fishers as well. It's not a tremendous amount. It's not like Keystone Mall, Keystone at the Crossing, which is the fashion mall. That's a big destination for people across the Indy Metro because it's a higher end mall. It has some shops that you're not gonna find anyplace else, pretty unique, or some really high end national brands that you're gonna find in that area. Or you can go to out, let's say in Plainfield, shops at Perry Crossing. That's a place where you can get some big shopping done. Or you can go up to Noblesville and you get into Hamilton Town Center. That's actually not that far from me. If you just go straight up 37, you will eventually get to it. Of course, you're gonna have to take some turns off of that, but it's essentially a little bit north up 37 from where I'm standing here. But some of the other places in the downtown area of Fishers, like with restaurants, those would be places that are kind of popping, and people are coming in from Noblesville, coming in from Carmel, coming in from at least the northeast side of Indianapolis to go to. Plus, Fishers has built, I mean, there's no way to absolutely say this for certain, but it has built an unbelievable, and I feel like probably blows everybody else away, with the exception of Ruoff in Noblesville, which is a huge amphitheater, but the Fishers Amphitheater is incredible. Is absolutely incredible. And people coming over from Noblesville, from Indianapolis, from Westfield, from Carmel, from Zionsville, from even on the west side, when you get into Brownsburg, places like that, they will come to Fishers to see different concerts. They will have some named people that come through there occasionally. They're not gonna be super huge modern day acts, but a lot of cover bands, a lot of fun bands, and a lot of family type nights in Fishers at the Nickel Plate Amphitheater. It is just incredible. It is such a cool place to go, even if you don't live in Fishers. Now, where I used to live, you could actually walk to it. And where that is, this is again where I'm gonna sound like one of those people. I remember when there was nothing there except for trees. That's all that was there, and it's absolutely, I love trees. I felt like it was incredibly tragic that a lot of those trees were taken down. In fact, really pretty much all of them were, and they were big old trees, but it at least did make room for a thing like the Nickel Plate Amphitheater and the area surrounding it. I mean, it is really, really super cool. It is a place that you could really go and just hang out on the green any time of day. Of course, when the weather's really pretty good. The public library's over there. There are some restaurants like 4-Day Ray Brewery's over there. Just a cool place to go, to hang out. That's where actually the farmer's market is all summer long for Fishers on Saturdays. It's where it used to be called the Freedom Festival here in Fishers, but now it's called Spark. That all happens there over July 4th. not necessarily that weekend, it's actually the weekend before usually, so it's right at the end of June, which is kind of unique, and it separates it a little bit from some of the other July 4th festivals, which is pretty cool. So it can give you an opportunity maybe to hit more than one July 4th festival. Fishers is just gotten absolutely gigantic. Another thing that would be a destination for people to come to see and experience Fishers a little bit. But that's just a small sample of some of the things that are actually in this particular area. But again, back to that sprawl. So once you get a city that has grown so much and it just becomes house after house or neighborhood after neighborhood, like I said, it just doesn't have much of a personality. So whether you're a fan of what's happening in downtown Fishers or not, it at least is doing that. It is giving Fishers a personality, and it's giving something to it that makes it unique. So when you think of Fishers, it's not just this sprawling, boring, absolutely bland city. It is becoming one that is lively, it's happening, has things happening, and it has attractions not just for its citizens, but also the people that live in the surrounding cities and towns. Just really, really cool. I like when a city does that and creates that for its residents and actually for people that live in those surrounding places. So if you have questions at all about Fishers, what's happening here, how you could live close to something like this, or even in Fishers and be a little further away where you wouldn't want to be in exactly how busy it is here. I mean, there's definitely some traffic if you could hear it. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Through here I can definitely hear it. But if you want to be close to this or away from it, but have the opportunity to be close enough to where it's something that you'd probably frequent quite often, then reach out to us. We can answer any question that you might have about that. And until the next one, we'll see you later.